I'm Claudia, and this is my story about elder abuse. Always been close to my mom and dad my whole life. Unfortunately, my mother unexpectedly had a heart attack, and she passed away on May 28th, 2020. You never really know how much somebody is doing for the family until they're not there anymore. My dad also had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's and dementia. I think probably in 2016-ish, I'm not sure, it could have been earlier than that. That first year without my mom, my dad really leaned on me. My mom and dad have another child, my sister, Christina Clay, and she's pretty much like out of the picture. She hadn't talked to my mom in like 10 years. She hadn't talked to me in probably 15 years. And then my mother has a son from her first marriage, my brother Tim. About a year after my mom passed away, my dad meets a woman, and he meets her at the cemetery. Her name's Jennifer Lee, and he doesn't know anything about this woman, but I mean, he just is enamored with her. And Jennifer Lee is totally love bombing him. And I noticed that he had written Jennifer Lee a check for $3,000. I had a conversation with my dad about the checks, and he's like, he didn't even know what I was talking about. I had to file for conservatorship of my father. I had no choice. She was just fully taking advantage of him. Filed on September 19th of 2021. And my sister Christina filed for conservatorship on September 21st of 2021. Here comes Tim and Kim. So about a month later, these two street rats decide to move into my dad's house. Like the paint is barely dried on this guest house. And Tim moves in with his drug addict girlfriend as well, Kim, and where they've been living ever since. In November of 2021, my sister and Tim were able to find this amazing attorney. His name is Keith Van Dyke, and he decides that he's gonna go ahead and rewrite my dad's estate documents for him. So as soon as I file for a conservatorship, they go and redraw his estate documents. So now they all got a piece of the pie. Christina's gonna get a bigger share, Tim's gonna get a bigger share, and Jennifer's gonna get the house. Jennifer Lee, who my dad has known at this point for 5 months, has been given a life estate in his house. Okay, so here's the problem with Jennifer Lee. She's still married to somebody else, and she's going through a divorce and a domestic violence case. She doesn't have a visa. She filed for like a permanent resident visa, and during that process, she figured out that if she is a victim of domestic violence, then her visa is automatically approved, and it moves to the top of the line. Jennifer files domestic violence charge against her husband. They have this like fake night. She goes to the hospital. There's no injuries, there's no marks, there's no nothing, and he's not a violent guy. He's in his 70s. They've never had any issues before, but it's enough to get him kicked out of the house, and it's enough to get her visa pushed to the top of the deck. His name was Yong, and I befriended him. We were kind of a support system for each other, even though it was just like, oh my gosh, this lady is just such a predator, and how do we get her to just go away? Anyway, he was able to get her to go away because he won his case against her. So the district attorney was pressing charges against him. Thank God the jury saw through all of her bullshit, and the verdict was not guilty, and he was able to just get this woman out of his life. Yeah. So anyway, I feel, happy for Yongshin. He was able to finalize his divorce and get her out of there. But unfortunately, as soon as he divorces her, she marries my dad. And the sad thing is that Christina, Tim, Patrice, Kim, they're supposed to be looking after my dad because they've cut me out of his life. And my dad marries Jennifer in December of 2022. And then about 30 days later, they declare him incompetent. And so now he's not in control of any of his finances. So here comes Jennifer Lee, here comes Christina, here comes Tim, and they just have taken over everything. And my dad is just surrounded by predators, surrounded. And that's where we are right now. So I'm fighting. I haven't seen my dad outside of an attorney's office or a courtroom in 3 years. It's been a long 3 years, and it's been hard because I miss my dad. I mean, my kids miss their grandpa. Gabe misses his father-in-law. I mean, Gabe's like the son they never had. So it's sad. Our family has just been completely disrupted by liars. It's just a hard process to go through, but I feel like there's only certain things that are worth fighting for in your life, and your dad is definitely one of them.